93% of y'all are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like my videos. The worst case scenario, you can always unsubscribe. Klay Thompson is a 3-time NBA champ, 5-time All-Star, and 2-time All-NBA recipient. Klay spent 3 years playing for Washington State. Coming out of college, he was known for scoring, but he was also criticized for his lack of speed and maturity. For what we know now, he is one of the best scoring shooting guards in the league, and there has been no problem with his maturity or speed. So why were 10 players drafted ahead of them? And where are they now? Klay in his first year at Washington put up solid stats, where he averaged 12.5 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, and 41% from the three-point line. This showed that he had potential of becoming one of the best three-point shooters in this draft. In his last year, he showed that he can become the man on a team, putting up 22 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. That last season showed NBA teams that he was the real deal. So at the number 1 spot, the Cleveland Cavaliers selected Duke freshman point guard Kyrie Irving. In Kyrie's 1 year with Duke, he put up 17.5 points per game, 4.3 assists per game, and shot 46% from the three-point line. According to Bleacher Report, despite only playing 11 games at the collegiate level, Irving is an incredibly talented point guard who will be able to immediately start for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's the first step to truly helping the unlucky city forget a certain royal member. At the time, this was the right number 1 overall pick in most people's eyes. In the second spot, the Minnesota Timberwolves selected Derrick Williams. In his last year at Arizona, he put up 19.5 points per game, 8.3 rebounds per game, and shot 59% from the field. The forward from Arizona is a very good all-around player whose trademark is his incredible efficiency shooting the ball. Minnesota could use Williams to pair up with Kevin Love, forming one of the most potent forward tandems in the league. However, Williams and Michael Beasley have very similar roles, and the former could force the latter out. At the time, selecting Williams was a low-risk, high-reward selection. Coming in at the 3rd spot, the Utah Jazz selected Enes Kanter. He's a decent athlete. He works very hard on both ends of the floor, but he lacks dominance on the defensive end. Like Al Horford, Kanter has a very strong body and is willing to do the dirty work in the paint. Both are very good rebounders and both are capable scorers with their backs to the basket. The Jets at the time had many big men, so picking Klay at number 3 would have been a better option. At the 4th pick, the Cavaliers selected Tristan Thompson. Thompson can defend and he uses his long arms well to swat shots away. He also does a good job of bodying up and keeping his man from backing him in deep. Offensively, Thompson has the skill needed and has a good game with his back to the basket. He does not possess much range, but he understands how to score. At the time, the Cavs were not looking for a guard after drafting Kyrie at number 1. At the 5th pick, the Toronto Raptors selected Jonas Valanciunas. Valanciunas may not have much range around the perimeter, but he is a quality finisher down low. He is especially productive when running in the pick and roll. In the past, the Raptors drafted a player just like Valanciunas and Andre Briani, but Valanciunas was more willing to become a better player, so in my opinion, this was a good pick. The next 2, we're not going to be spending that much time on them. At the 6th pick, the Washington Wizards selected Jan Vasily. Vasily is a great scorer in the open court. He lacked a great outside shot, but he could eventually develop more scoring from the outside. With Vasily not developing the outside shot, he was out of the league in just 3 years. Just a wasted pick by the Washington Wizards. At the 7th pick, the Charlotte Bobcats selected Bismack Biyombo. Coming out of college, Biyombo was an outstanding player on defense and physically was ready to play in the NBA at the moment. However, Biyombo has no offense at all. Biyombo was a very bad pick for the Bobcats, with Kemba, Klay, and Kawhi still being on the board. At the 8th pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Brandon Knight. Knight is a point guard, but he also possesses the skill and athleticism to score inside and outside. Knight should become a solid point guard at the next level, perhaps even better than solid. Knight was projected to be the 2nd best point guard in this draft, so we can't blame the Pistons for taking Knight with the 8th pick. What we can blame the Pistons for is who was taken with the 9th pick. At the 9th pick, the Charlotte Bobcats selected Kemba Walker. Kemba, coming out of UConn, was not supposed to win the MVP, but he had the same skill set as Derrick Rose. Walker is very tough and very fast. He is a very aggressive slasher and uses his quickness to blow by defenders. Like Rose, Walker is not a great outside shooter, but he is good enough. The last guy to be drafted ahead of Klay was Jimmy Fredette. He was taken by the Milwaukee Bucks, but was traded to the Sacramento Kings on draft night. He can knock down a three from anywhere, and he is not afraid to pull the trigger at any time. However, Fredette is not a great athlete and is not great on the defensive end. He lacks foot speed and does not possess the athleticism needed to excel at the next level. Fredette is an electric scorer, but beyond that, he lacks the rest of the package. He was a good scorer, but lacking the other skills as an NBA player eventually caught up to him. So why were 10 players drafted ahead of Klay Thompson? The NBA scouts seen Klay just as a shooter, nothing more, nothing less. They felt like Klay's potential was not as great as the 10 players taken before him. Klay was not the best player in the draft, but in the long run under the Warriors system, he was able to accomplish big things. Now, what happened to everyone else? Kyrie and Kemba ended up having successful careers, and the others were out of the NBA or role players in a couple of years. And that's the end of the video. This video took a long time for me to make, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. As always, I'll catch you all next time.